Okay, look at it for me. Is it looking good? Right in?
Yep, you're in.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. I want to do something very simple, and I'm gonna try to keep it simple, and it is my interpretation of the seven seals of the Book of Revelation. I'm gonna try to stick just with the seals and some things that are connected with it, and it's real simple. 1 through 7 is seven seals, and I believe then it talks about seven trumpets, which is right after in this chapter 6. Then it speaks of the seven trumpets. Okay, now the first four seals we know are horsemen, and they're death, plagues, famine, everything. They all fit together as destruction. And I explained earlier in another video about how I believe they started in 70 AD. They took out Israel. And in the Old Testament, God used the horsemen to take Israel out as a nation, to take them out because they're not doing what He wants them to do. Same thing happened in the Roman times. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do, so God took them out. Now, if you read the four horsemen, and it talks about, brother killing brother. We've been doing all this since Jesus. We have many wars, Zulu wars, the I said Zulu wars, the, all kinds of wars. First war, Second World War II, French War, Indonesia wars, all kinds of wars. Then we have all the plagues. We have the Black Plague, bubonic plague, the influenza, all the diseases we have today, the cancers, the what do you call them? The Parkinson's, the Alzheimer's. We are really killing ourselves, and I believe this is what the horsemen have been doing this whole time. Is it's war. We're killing ourselves. And let's take the four trumpets then. I'm not going to get into the 5th, 6th, and 7th yet. And right after in chapter 6, and then it goes into the next four trumpets. Now, the four trumpets talks about a third of our water's polluted, a third of our ocean water's polluted, grass is burnt up, ships are lost, a third of the ships, and it's just mayhem and crazy. So if you look at everything now, right today, as I speak, a third of our water is polluted. Drinking water and ocean water, a third is polluted. So if it happens again, and the horsemen all of a sudden appear on the scene tomorrow, they knock out a third, that's going to be 2/3. We can't survive 2/3. So I believe the four horsemen have been happening and are happening, and the first four trumpets are the four horsemen, but it explains it in a different way. He first talks about the seals, and then he explains them more to give us a better understanding in a different way. And if you notice, he explains them better the next time. One's not talked about much, and it's really talked about and explained. Now let's take the fifth seal that's coming up with the fifth trumpet. Now it's in chapter 9 of Revelation. The fifth seal, I'm just going to lay everything out for you. The fifth seal is 5 months of missiles being poured into Israel, which is happening right now. It started October 7th. We're talking 5 months of missiles. Iran hasn't opened up the silos yet. Hezbollah hasn't opened up the silos yet. Turkey and Russia are putting troops right now on the Golan Heights, the border of Israel. And they said, if you keep bombing Hamas, you're gone. We're going to wipe you off the map of the earth. Now, and if you look at the fifth seal, what does it say about the fifth seal? I don't get too much into going back and forth. I just want to kind of lay it out for you. But when he opened the fifth seal, he saw, it just explains it in a different way, the altar with the people that's been martyred since Christ's time. It talks about that they were his, and they're under the altar waiting for his fellow brethren, which is Christians, to be slaughtered like they were. So this is fitting in with the fifth seal. We're waiting. And right now, Israel is being judged. Says it's going to measure the temple. In the Old Testament, when he measured the temple, He measured them to see if they were doing what they're supposed to be doing. They had the Mount of Olives since 1967. What have they done with it? They gave it to Jordan to as security. He handed God's holy temple mount to the Muslims. You think God likes that? Tel Aviv is the homosexual capital of the world. He don't like that. He don't like what they're doing to their widows and their orphans. They think a lot more of themselves than they should. They're a very haughty people, and right now they're being judged with these missiles coming on their head for 5 months. I believe, this is my interpretation now, that they're being judged now for 5 months. And he says at the end of 5 months, if you read chapter 9, he says at the end of that, he's judging them. And if they don't repent of their sins, he's going to send the 6th seal on them. Now, the 6th seal is the 200 million man army, the Gog and Magog war, that's coming in and attacking them. That's 1 hour, which means when the missiles stop after 5 months, within a day, Israel's going to be gone. They're going to be conquered. They're going to be underfoot of the beast, the Antichrist, and the false prophet, and all these other guys are going to come out, and you're going to know who they are, because they're going to pick the Mahdi's coming, and then we'll know who he is. So everybody just picks out this Antichrist. There's a lot more than Antichrist. There's 10 nations, 10 beasts, and 10 kings that aren't yet. And if you add them up, it's the Muslim nations. There's 10 nations. You got Turkey, you got Iran, you got Russia, you have, count them. And there's 7 there's 3 that gets pushed up, and it's all the infighting that they're doing. Now there's 10 that's not. Hamas, Hezbollah. They're not kings, but they're presenting their power with these kings. Why it's happening. They're doing it right now. So 5 months from October 7th, count up, the Jewish calendar month is 28 days. So we're looking at 140 days, October 7th. So around February 24th, it's very possible. I'm just saying it's possible because of the 5 months and how it fits into here, and how the 5th seal is missiles. And look at the 9th chapter of the book of Revelation, and it talks about what John saw. And I believe he saw missiles flying into Tel Aviv, because the lion's tooth looks like a missile. The scorpion's tail is missile from the ground, like many locusts, many of them jumping like a locust, jumping from ground to ground. Look at all these missiles being fired over a woman's hair, the flume of the smoke when the rocket takes off. Well, I mentioned breastplate, and the breastplates of iron is the sealing of the missile. The outer is iron. The faces of men is on the rockets right now that Iran is going to fire over. They have holograms that are on these missiles. The martyrs' faces, they relish in the martyrs. They hang their pictures up all over the place. There's brigades of missiles specified for certain martyrs. So it's martyrs of men. And the other, battle, the noise he heard is like chariots when it took off. That's the only sound he could relate it to, is a chariot running by him on the road as he stood there, and he saw these chariots going by, and it was real loud. Sounds like a rocket to me. So 5 months of rockets, and then they attack them. The 6th seal, that is God's judgment on them because they still haven't repented of their sins. That is little Babylon. Look at when it mentions Babylon. It talks about the harlot. Who's the harlot? The harlot is Israel. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They've been playing the harlot with all these other nations. That is the one that is riding the beast. And if you notice, the beast with the 10 horns hates her. If it's the beast, they hate her. That's Israel. They hate her. They attack her. They want to kill her. And they will kill her and take her out. A third will be killed by the sword when they attack. Another third will be killed during captivity. And another third is going to get away. God says to flee. And they're going to be a third that gets away. So, and that's when it talks about the 3/3. So, overlap the trumpets with the seals, and they fit very well, and it will explain more what's happening. Now, the 7 vials, it's called 7 vials. In other Bibles, it's called 7 bowls. So that is the 7 last plagues. It says the 7 last plagues after the 7th seal. So you know these 7 vials, these 7 plagues, which they are plagues. Read them. They're malignant ulcers. You can read them. There's 7 of them. And that is when the witnesses get killed and the 6th seal at the end of it. And that's when it's over. That was the last chance for these people to listen, to say and do what God says. Now he says we're going to do it ourselves. So that's why Jesus is coming back. He's going to do it himself. He is going to take over the promised land. He said that's where he is going. That's where his feet is going. And he says if the other nations don't listen, he's not going to give them rain. So there's going to be many nations around. And this is how he's going to take it back. After the witnesses die, the 7th seal, the first plague starts happening. It goes up to the 3rd or 4th plague, and then the frogs come out of the prophet, the Antichrist, in their mouth, which means they're going around the world saying, help us, help us, help us defeat this horrible plagues that are coming on us, because, check this out, the Battle of Armageddon is going to be the last plague. So, the beast and all is being hid. The caliphate, they're trying to make it right now, and they're going to get it, is massive, and it's Muslim, and he's going to start plaguing them over there. You don't have to worry about it all over the rest of the world. You know, there's going to be trouble, but not like this. This is Jacob's trouble. Before the 5th seal, 6th seal is Jacob's trouble. This now is going to be the beast trouble. That's the 3rd woe. The 1st plague, 2nd plague, 3rd plague, there's 144,000 sitting on Armageddon, Megiddo. They're sitting there waiting to come in to Jerusalem. They're waiting for the Messiah to come and rapture them, to take them into Jerusalem. Now, the Ark of Covenant's going to be there. And they're going to say, that's what's causing it. So that's why they attack the Muslims. The 200 million man army attacks God, he says, at Megiddo. It's not the Battle of the Bulge, which is in Germany, right? It's the Battle of Armageddon. That means it's where it says it is. It's in the Valley of Megiddo, and it's going to be the space of a bridle's horse. There's so much blood. Now, check this out. The last plague is hailstones. If you read what happens in the 7th plague, he throws dust in the air. It is thundering and lightning, and that's a storm. That is a storm, it says, a storm that's never been a big storm. It's going to take the hailstones, because you know how they go up and down, they get bigger and bigger and bigger until they weigh 100 pounds. That's the last plague that's going to be hit on the beast. Now, Daniel statue is destroyed on the feet of it by stones. So these hailstones are coming out of the sky. It says what he's going to do with them. He's going to kill those that have the mark of the beast. That is his weapon. Excuse me. His weapon is hailstones. Now, the beast and Antichrist and all weapons, tanks, planes, guns, knives, they're going to relentlessly attack Armageddon to try to stop the plagues that are happening on them, because in their Quran it says that if they can open the Ark of the Covenant, why would it say that? This is so coincidental. If they can open up, one woman, one man, one boy can open the Ark of the Covenant, they win. That's when the Mahdi and all their control of the world happens. But this is God going to control his land. So they're going to attack the Battle of Armageddon, horses, bridle, rapture the people, take them to Mount of Olives. It's going to split open, and he's going to march into Jerusalem through the east gate with his people. And he's going to build his nation for 1,000 years. He's going to make this a really nice place. And after the 1,000 years, the devil's loosed. But he's getting this earth ready then for the Father to come out of heaven. So this is the 7 seals. Verse 4, horses, what we're doing to ourselves. The 5th is Israel getting judged. This is a book about Israel. This isn't it is a book about Christians, but we're supposed to be grafted into Israel. This is a book about Israel. It's given to them. So they're going to have missiles for 5 months, and at the end of 5 months, the Muslims are going to attack them all. They're going to take over the land with the caliphate. Then the 7th trumpet is Jesus returning going to knock them in the head with a 100-pound hailstone and take it all over. Now, Babylon is little Babylon. That is Israel. Read it. They're the harlot. Then big Babylon, which is the Muslims, attack it and it becomes big Babylon. It becomes a place of horned owls and wicked and nasty and demons and everything after Babylon is destroyed. So little Babylon is Israel, the mother harlots. Then big Babylon takes them over, so it's big Babylon. Now that's how that fits in. And the first sickle and the second sickle. Look at them. The first sickle, he's almost apologetic. How come there's two reapings of the earth? The first reaping is Israel being judged and taken and conquered, just invaded. The second sickle is when Babylon, seventh seal, is invaded and taken. Now it says that the kings from afar off look and see the burning. If it's the whole world, how come the kings are sitting back and looking and seeing it burning? They would be burning also. So there's so much in here, it fits once you start putting it together and it starts making sense. So I hope this helped, and it's what I think, and it's what I think I see. Give me your feedback for sure. I wish I could meet someone that is really astute here, and I would love to sit down and just talk about this because this is so exciting. Our Savior's coming back, and he says he's coming back. He's not coming back until there's war, but we should be ready. We need to get ourselves ready. And Revelation is just prophecy, and he's showing that he's coming back. Your character is what's the most important. But this is given to us for a reason, and I hope I explained it somehow to understand it better. And Dan, food for thought. What do you think?
Good. I think that was